I'm Ashton Addison from Blockwest Capital for Investment Pitch Media and the Crypto Coin Show. And today on Blockchain Interviews with Christoph Mussenbrock, the founder and architect of Etherisc. Christoph, welcome to this show, and it's a pleasure to have you on today.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. I'm excited to dive into Etherisc in the world of decentralized insurance protocols and smart contracts. There's a lot to unravel in this industry.
Absolutely.
I would love for you to kick it off for us by just giving an overview and some of the solutions that Etherisc is bringing to the insurance industry through cryptocurrencies and blockchain.
Exactly. Yeah. The main idea is that we want to build an open platform where people and teams all over the world can build their own insurance products. And we provide the essential building blocks for this. We provide something like an operating system, which consists on off-chain and on-chain components. So we have a complete on-chain smart contract suite where people can use, and so it makes the creation of new insurance products on-chain very easy because, the operating system provides all what you need already. And you only need to configure your product as a statistical model and some things like this. Mm-hmm. And the off-chain components also enable you to bring your product to the customer via something like a toolbox for front-end building and stuff like this. And also we can help you and your team with the legal stuff, because we gathered some experience in the last years. So people who are struggling with insurance regulations, then they can find also support with our solution. And we don't have a solution for everything, but we have pretty much experience. And so it will help teams to build their own products in much shorter time.
Definitely. That's great. And with the insurance industry, I haven't seen it fully encapsulated inside of cryptocurrencies and smart contracts. Obviously, it's a little different than the traditional insurance industry. I'm curious, when you were founding the company and looking at the vision of how are we going to deliver these solutions in a better way using this technology, what were the main things that you saw that really needed to be fixed in insurance and make sure you get right with Etherisc?
Yeah. When we started, we had the vision that we create a system which would work completely on-chain and which would be composable with other financial products in a way which we cannot have in the traditional insurance. In a traditional insurance, you can have software systems, but for each partner, you need a different interface and you need to build everything from scratch. On blockchain, you have this standard. You have these standardized tokens, you have standardized DeFi protocols, and you have standardized smart contracts, which help you to interact with every other smart contract in a standardized way. And that's not possible in the traditional insurance. So we think that this alone brings so much benefit that you can compose different solutions, and one building block is insurance, one building block is supply chain, one building block are oracles, and everything fits together automatically. And this is a huge advantage of blockchain against traditional insurance and traditional finance. I think that is the main reason, but of course there are also some other reasons. For example, transparency. Blockchain-based insurance is transparent for both the customer and also the insurance company and also the investors who provides a risk capital behind it. So it removes these black boxes from the system where people do not know how their products are calculated. They do not know if they get a payout or not, and so on. So transparency, and by transparency, we have more fairness. And of course, then this additional benefit of being able to compose products out of it together with other DeFi components.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, the transparency I think is key, and there's a lot of benefits. But it seems, with all of these obvious benefits over the traditional industry, it seems that decentralized insurance and insurance on the blockchain is still fairly early on, from what I understand. Can you give your expertise into how far along is decentralized insurance from actually being adopted, globally or into the mainstream, and why are we at that point right now?
Yeah. Of course, the main issue is adoption of cryptocurrencies in the general public. So you know that many countries are still struggling with this, and they do not know how to handle this. Many central banks are experimenting with central bank digital currencies, but it's all early stage. And so interestingly enough, in the developed countries, so the G8 countries, for example, their crypto adoption is still at a low level. But you know, for example, El Salvador, they made the step and introduced Bitcoin as the legal tender. Mm-hmm. And so that's also an experience what we make, that the developing countries, so in our examples, for example, Kenya, they are making much larger steps toward adoption of blockchain, cryptocurrencies, and the like, in comparison to the developed countries. So we think, and that's why we are working in Kenya, where we have some 17,000 farmers on our system. Wow. Of course, they don't use cryptocurrency because they also do not know that they're using blockchain. They just have these tools which enable them to get transparency on their own product and to see what's happening. And that's the difference to the way it used to be before. Mm-hmm. And so I think adoption is the main showstopper currently for decentralized insurance. And so we start in the developing countries, and we hope that we then show that it's working. And then also we know that all these insurance companies worldwide are very interested in blockchain, and they would like to put their toe into it, but they're still reluctant, because of regulatory reasons. Mm-hmm. And so on. So I think it will take maybe 2 or 3 years until the mainstream in the industry will also dive into decentralized finance and also in decentralized insurance. And that's the time what we need to use to build up our position and first of all in developing countries.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Yeah, great point there about Africa as well, and leapfrogging with the infrastructure and being able to onboard into Absolutely. Decentralized insurance, because they just don't have those other barriers to entry of the traditional infrastructure, blocking innovation. So it's exciting to hear. I was reading into the partnership that you have in Africa and with the crop farmers, and 17,000, that's amazing. I would love if you could elaborate a little bit more on how exactly does this crop insurance work through Etherisc? Mm-hmm. What's the benefit to the farmers, and how does that work with smart contracts?
Yeah, first of all, it's a fully automated product. So there is no human interaction with the processing of the policies, because both the onboarding of farmers as well as the claims process, underwriting process, that is all done automatically. The farmer will onboard by using a simple feature phone where he can type in a specific code. And the code is distributed with seed bags, for example, maize or soya beans. And so he gets a little card with a code. He can type in the code, pay the premium also with his phone, with an electronic payment system. And then he will receive a policy, and he is insured for the specific crop. And from this activation of this code, we also know where the farmer lives. And so we can see what type of risk there is. And so the risk what we insure is the risk of excess or too little rainfall. So if you know the position of the farmer, then we can use satellite data to determine if at the location of the farmer there is sufficient precipitation and rain. And if there is not enough or too much, then we can directly trigger a payout. And that is all controlled via blockchain, and the farmer can, with his feature phone, he can also access his data on chain and see what's happening. And this is transparency, what also helps to build up trust between the farmer and the company.
Very cool. I love that automation. It's going to make it so much easier when the first world countries are able to just automate everything. I know that your team is working on insurance for many other use cases besides farming as well. Maybe you can touch on what are the early use cases for Etherisc?
Yeah. So the main use case is the so-called parametric insurance, Parametric means that the claims management, so if there is a loss or not, that can be determined by databases, not by humans, but by just looking in a database, be it a weather database or wind database or solar energy database or whatever data you have. And in these times with IoT, you have plenty of data, and so it's very there are many new use cases for insurance because you have data. Mm-hmm. And so one example what we have is a flight delay. This is also an parametric insurance where you can protect yourself from the risk of a flight being delayed. We use flight databases, and also we have a wind database for hurricane insurance, for example, in Puerto Rico. And these products are being developed now. And all of these are parametric insurance, so we have full automation. Of course, you could, in principle, also use human agents. Then you would still have transparency and composability from the blockchain, but you would, of course, have a more inefficient process in the claims handling. Mm-hmm. So we postpone that a bit, but in principle, we can do any type of insurance.
Very cool. And speaking of the automation, I was looking into the cryptocurrency factors in it, and you were mentioning that maybe the farmers don't have to use cryptocurrency, but I did see that there is a network token for Etherisc, the DIP. Yeah. Can you talk about how that incorporates into the protocol, and how does it benefit everybody in the ecosystem?
Yeah, absolutely. So the basic idea is that every insurance needs a capital pool, the so-called risk pool, to cover excessive losses. Now, from premiums alone, you would not be able to pay a lot of losses, so you need a capital pool. And people who put money in the capital pool will need to stake DIP tokens. Yeah, so staking is the main mechanism. And people who stake their DIP tokens, they will also earn profits or earn returns from the premiums which are not used to pay out losses. And so that's very similar to the traditional insurance, where you have also these risk pools, but they're of course not on-chain, but in a traditional bank account. But we put that whole thing on-chain, and therefore it can be done with much less friction. And people can enter the pool or leave the pool in a much easier way than in traditional finance, where you need to invest for a long time and lock your capital. And so decentralized insurance makes it also possible to use the capital much more efficiently than traditional insurance, at least in the long term. So we are currently working on these staking models, and the DIP token is essentially the token which drives this whole staking process.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Thanks for that, Christoph. And yeah, you mentioned you're working on that right now. I know you're already working with all these farmers. I would love to get a glimpse into the next 6 months for Etherisc, and what are the major tasks that your team's looking at handling and releases into the market.
Yeah. So we started in Kenya with our first crop insurance product. And the idea is now that we develop this product in a way that it can be used as a blueprint for virtually any country which has crop insurance. Now, the system is always the same. You have satellite data, you have policies, you have farmers which use electronic devices to onboard or to make payments. And this can be modified very easily and used in many different countries. And so we will, in the next 6 months, we will, for example, move to other African countries and deploy the product there in sometimes a bit different context with different payment systems and also, of course, different type of risks. But the principle is always the same. And so we want to build this universal platform where we have reusable components which can be used in basically any context. And the same, of course, for other types of insurance, the wind insurance, hurricane insurance, that are all things what can be used in other countries as well. And so the next 6 months will be this scaling of these basic insurance products and, of course, introduction of staking. And by this also entering in the whole value chain of risk transfer on-chain.
Mm-hmm. Very exciting. And if the viewers are looking to learn more about these insurance products and when the staking comes out and all the other updates for Etherisc as well, what's the best way for them to get involved in the community and to try out the platform?
Sorry, the last was difficult to understand.
To get involved in the community and to try out the platform and the protocol.
Yeah, we are currently publishing a series of tutorials, so interested teams can just work along the tutorials. And we will also provide, in the near future, we will provide a complete software development kit where you can just start your own product in a local testing environment with some sample products. So you can actually, in a matter of a few hours, you can start your own insurance product and work on and try it out. And so this is to engage the developer community. And for the developer community, we have also started a rapid development environment, which we have acquired in the last 6 months. So that allows you to build also front end for insurance applications in really no time. And that's one big advantage that we do not have, not only have the on-chain components, but we also have a complete environment for building off-chain components. And so that is something what we hope that many developers will jump on this and try their own. For the rest of the community, of course, we will build first products which they can use. For example, flight delay is short before launch, and also, of course, the different staking solutions. And everybody who wants to enter is invited to our Telegram channels and other outlets. We have blogs, we have also a forum. So if you want to learn about Etherisc, then simply jump on our homepage, etherisc.com. Then you have all these social icons at the top, and then you can jump on our Telegram channel, forum, blog, and so on.
Sounds great. Thank you so much, Christoph. I will leave those links as well in the description box below. All the best on all of these decentralized insurance products moving forward. And thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Ashton.